All right, boys and girls, I've got a confession to make, and I'm not proud of it. I am really not proud of it. It's about maintenance on the Supra, and something that I haven't done for a long time. 16 years to be precise. Let's jump in, I'll tell you about it, and we'll actually do it today, and I'll show you how to do it. All right, now, give you a little bit of backstory. I've had this car since I was 18. I'm 35 now, something like 35? Yeah, I'm 35, damn. Anyway, 35 now, had it since I was 18, had it a long time. I've swapped pretty much everything out of this. Brakes, suspension, engine, gearbox, tail shaft, you name it, I've swapped it, right? But the only thing that has stayed since the original chassis is the diff. Now, the diff is a 5-speed diff. It's got 5-speed gears. It actually makes this 6-speed setup a lot snappier and a lot kind of, I like to call it quicker instead of faster, because it doesn't give it more power. It just makes it a little bit quicker, right? Gets through the rev range a little bit faster, a little bit quicker. Anyway, original diff. Now, this is a small boy diff. If you know Supras, they've got the A and the B series diffs. As far as I'm aware, there's like an A01A, A01B, B01B and B02B or something like that. But it's the small diff versus the big diff. Anyway, this has the smallest diff. From what I read the other day, actually, turns out this was you had an option to LSD this small boy diff, apparently. Let me know in the comments if I'm wrong. But the thing is, this has always spun 2 wheels, always. When it was NA, every time I'd give it a bit of berries on a track, it grabs 2. So it's got to be LSD. Now, when I put the turbo motor in and all that kind of stuff, and I took it to get tuned, the boys tuned it and they're like, dude, your diff is whiny. Like, it will not shut up. It is loud. And I was like, oh, okay. I said, look, the thing is, I'm probably going to swap the diff out anyway to the big boy diff. At that point, they weren't crazy expensive. So it was kind of just on the cards. And I was like, when this diff dies, I'll swap it out to the big one, whatever. That was, what, 14 years ago? Something like that? What was it, 2014? No, it's 10 years ago. Sorry, 10 years ago. I swapped this to a turbo motor and 6-speed. It hasn't blown up, but God does it whine, because I have never changed the oil in this diff. I know it's terrible, but in the back of my mind, I was always like, I'm gonna swap it out soon, so why even do the maintenance on it? It's going to die. Like, there's no ifs or buts about it. It's gonna die very, very soon. No, it hasn't. It's kept up. I mean, I'm not pushing crazy power through it, so fair enough. But today is the day we're going to actually do some maintenance on it, because it needs it, it deserves it. And when I did the power steering, and I was trying to listen to that whining for the, the bleeding of the system and so on, I could hear the diff whining, and I was like, man, I got to do something about that. So today we're going to do that, and it is the simplest job. This is why it's so embarrassing that I haven't done it. What you need is a jack. I've actually put it on, jacked it up and put it on ramps, because I'm not a huge fan of jack stands, I'll be honest with you. I'm not the biggest fan. I've never had a failure, but I'm just not the biggest fan. But you can use jack stands as well, make sure you do. I also have the jack under the toe point. That's actually not got any pressure on it. It's just sitting there in case the ramps die. Anyway, you need a jack. You need some 75W90. I use full synthetic because I use full synthetic oils on everything. I run Penrite with everything. Engine, gearbox, diffs, brakes, everything, always Penrite. Just stand by the brand. Hopefully I can get a sponsorship out of them one day, but I run it anyway. You need your H10 Allen key bit or Allen key, and then obviously a breaker bar and so on. That's literally it, that and a drip tray, right? So all we're gonna do, there are 2 bolts under here, Allen key bolts. You'll see the lower one is your drain point and the higher one is your fill point. So what I do is I take off the fill point, then I take off the drain point, obviously, so there's airflow, there's no kind of pressure, drain it all out. As soon as it's completely drained, you put the bottom plug back in and just fill up the top one until it starts squirting out at you. So that's what we're gonna do right now. Car's already up, let's get under there, take out those 2 bolts, and let's see if there's even any fluid left in this gearbox. I mean, it doesn't leak, so there should just be really old, probably metal shaving filled oil, but let's see. All right, so like I said, that's your fill point. This is your drain point. I'm gonna open this one up.
Nah, look, I'll open this one up and it will start to drip, and then I'll open that one up to just let it flow. Just in case, because we're on an angle, it starts pissing out of that. I don't want that. So let's take this one off first and then take that one off. I'm really hoping that they're not too hard to take out. And I can't use my rattle gun because my boy's asleep. So here we go. Oh, this isn't good, boys. Oh, that's not ideal. Jesus, can you see the gunk in that? Oh God, it stinks. It's literally sludge, boys. This is like that engine oil that you see on the girls' cars that they haven't maintained for 16 years. Oh, actually, I mean, like, look, it's bad. But, I mean, it could be worse, I guess. Shit. All right, I'm gonna clean this off and I'll come back and we'll fill that back up. I'm gonna let that drain. Oof. I don't want to leave you guys guessing of how the condition of the oil went, but honestly, it just looks dirty. There's a little bit of metallic in there. It's all right, don't worry about that. There's not big chunks. There's just like a fine glisten. A little bit of one anyway. So don't do what I do what I say, and maintain your diff. And it's literally that simple to change your diff oil. So like I said, that's why it's so embarrassing that I haven't done it in so long. My excuse is, oh, I was always planning just to swap out the diff, but really I should have just done it. It's that easy. Like this is probably taking me half an hour at most, and that's with grabbing all the tools, grabbing all the parts, and also recording with you guys. Now, I can confirm that it's about 1.2 litres. So one of those 1 litre bottles will not do the job, but as you can see, they do have a beautiful little nozzle that you can like jam in the hole and then squeeze, and you just keep squeezing until it squirts out the filler hole, which is so easy. There's no dipstick, there's no, you know, have I got to put it in hot or cold or whatever. Just squeeze it in, right? So 1.2 litres. So I would recommend just buying the big 2 litre one. I have to do the E46 as well, same diff oil, so I've bought the bigger one. I'm showing you an old one actually, because I did do the Crown diff. I did the Crown diff, but I didn't do the Supra diff. What? Because when I first got the Crown, 100,000k service, so obviously all of that, and I also did the diff because it was on a hoist, and I was like, let's just do it. Why haven't I done the Supra? It's so dumb. But yeah, super easy. Undo them both, like drain it out, put the bottom one back in, fill it up till it spurts out, put the top one back in, you're done. So hopefully this has fixed the wine problem. If it hasn't, it is what it is. I'm just gonna keep driving it until it dies. Now, while I've got you here, I do wanna give you a little bit of advice, because like I said, I'm not a huge fan of these. Now, you rich guys out there that have those awesome ones that you just like lift up and it goes click, 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 and then it like sits in place. Ooh, jealous, because they're mint. Like they're the one that I really want, but I'm the kind of person that's like, I need jack stands. I'm doing this job. Just get those. You know, just get the ones quick. Actually, this set here, I bought from a guy on Marketplace who had a spare set, and he was around the corner, and it was a public holiday, so Super Cheap weren't open. So I've got 2 of these. Now, I do want to give you some advice on these ones specifically. Now, you see here how I've got the pin in? That is your lowest setting, okay? Some people will say that, oh, that was way too loud. That is your lowest setting. Don't run it like that. Do not run it like that, please, because what happens is you'll see that there's a weld up there, which is a little bit wider than the actual chamber. If you put your car on that, you run the risk of spreading the top of the actual jack stand, and essentially it's going to jam in there, and it's not how it's designed, so don't do that. The lowest setting is the lowest one you can put the actual pin in. Please do it like that. Please do things safely. Don't do as I do as I say. So that's the way to go, okay? Now,
I'm gonna pop this back down on the floor, and I actually need to go and bleed the power steering a little bit more because I bled it with the car on the floor. I need to jack it up, bleed it with the car off, with no load, then start the car, let it run for a while, bleed it again with no load, and then I should be good, because I did notice I had a little bit of a whine, like the pump was not fully primed. So I've got to do that, but that's enough camera thing, it's, you know. But so far those lines aren't leaking, they seem to be doing the job, which is good. So I saved myself hundreds and hundreds of dollars, or actually almost $1,000. So win, 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 and hopefully this stops this whine and just helps it live a little bit longer. So thank you for coming along and listening to my confessions, the confession of a YouTuber. Yeah, maintain your cars, guys. Don't do what I did with the diff. Do what I did with the engine and do it every 5,000 Ks. You know, I look after the engine, I look after the gearbox, but not so much the diff. All right, guys, thanks for coming along. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. See you guys.